All right, so this encounter is our first big use of elevation, which you can see here in the big, aptly named Savage Gorge.
All right, are you prepared to cross the Savage Gorge? Let's see.
So let's start. The perimeter of this thing is all bread and butter pieces. We've got a couple of 45s and a straight passage over here. And then on the back side, we have another straight, and we have this awesome, massive, towering passage ramp. This thing I go over in detail in the walkthrough for Encounter 7, the Mushroom Grotto. It's a killer piece, definitely worth checking that out just to see that piece. So we work our way around. We've got a whole bunch of bread and butter. We have a series of trifecta walls here without the floors, doing a negative space wall build around this train tray, so the water goes right up to the edge there, and then cliff pieces on the inside. These terrain trays, where it's going to be a 12-inch by 12-inch terrain tray, an 8 by 4-inch terrain tray, and there's an 8 by 4-inch terrain tray buried under here for this build. This build, it ends right at the edge of this terrain tray, and then at the end of this ramp, and then over here. So it's pretty sizable, and there's a lot of verticality to it. These terrain trays are going to be, these are last year's, these are from the Dungeon of Doom. Janet is still designing them. They're going to be gorgeous and awesome, and who's not going to want them? One side is going to have stagnant cave water. The other side, this is the side we're using here, will be like moving cave river water. It'll probably be a little darker and murkier. This is like more of a surface water. It'll be a little murkier, scarier. Central to all this, and sitting on these, we have a whole bunch of stalagmites. So this is the first time we have a collection of all the stalactites. It'll be a stalactite pack. We've got our squat corner fill stalagmite, a cool rising stalagmite, delightful little pointy stalagmite, and of course this big, massive, beautiful. This is the first appearance of the towering stalagmites. And these are fantastic work by Nina. Look at that thing. And for a sense of scale, here it is next to Bean Slayer. These are truly towering. Look at that. You also have, in that same pack, we're going to have a pair of risers. We have riser A, riser B. They fit together a bunch of different ways. And they also make a nice base for stalagmites. So next, let's look at these cliffs. We have a whole bunch of elevation of one of each of the cliff types in here. So these are our new cave cliffs. So under this one, we have the trifecta floor, and then under it is the curved cave cliff. So this thing is a big, beefy piece. We wanted to do this in the Aranthors originally, but opted for the smaller one. It is double-sided so that it's super organic. So this side's more crumbly. This side is a little more together. This will be the dead side, will be in the back here. Big, huge, beefy piece, 38 millimeters high. It's designed to work with our trifecta floor, the big, large curved trifecta floor that sits on it a variety of ways. So you can change the height. If you want to go up to 50 millimeters, you throw it on top of one of these. Off you go. Just feels good in the hand, this one. So then under here, I'm not going to tear it out, but we have our Swell Cliff. And this cliff is indeed swell. Look at this thing. It is same thing, it's double-sided, so you can have it swell either direction. This will be the dead side on the back. And Eli masterminded these and sort of really based them on the Aranthor Mountains from Castle Builder line. So there'll be a lot of compatibility. We'll do a compatibility video to show you how they all play together. And they obviously play really nicely together with each other. So when I mean swell, I mean that this side is based on a 2-inch footprint and this side is based on a 3-inch. So you're going a slight diagonal, swelling up from regular to 1 inch out, and it can swell in either direction. We have this little guy, the 2x1, which we go over in the walkthrough for Encounter 3, the Bestial Cliff. And this thing, a great example of how you'd use this thing is if you wanted to do a build like this, you'd slide this right into that little slot to fill this out, and then you can put elevation blocks in there or whatever. And then after this one, we have one of the straight cliffs. It's like this. We went over this in the walkthrough for Encounter 3, so you can take a look at that there. Here we have the convex curve. I guess we call this the right angle. This is the little curved piece. This thing, as the rest, it's double-sided, so you get a lot of organic options. This side also has texture. This is the dead side. It sits wonderfully of course, on top of the trifecta right angle ledge. We've got a lot of options there. And so that's the core cave cliff pieces. If these things do really well, you can expect to see more of them in the future, because the Z-axis is very exciting to us. We've also got a couple of the stepped elevation blocks in there, which also we walk through in Encounter 3. And got some rising walls. And back here we have one of our basalt LED walls. This thing we walked through in Encounter 5, the Cave of Ruin. You can check it out there. Alright, so now before we get to the bridge, because that's obviously the big thing everybody's excited about. This is the base to the Stairway to Violence. This is just an absolutely massive, epic, beautiful piece that I think you guys are gonna freak out for. A huge group effort on this thing. Just about everybody touched it. Eli, Michelle, Nina, Toby blocked it. It's a really huge, beefy, awesome piece. Massive piece. It's covered with beautiful details. It's got this water pool on the top, water pools on the side, little bat skeleton, Dwarvenite cluster. Lots of fun little things for you to discover. Key to the design, it has two flat bits here. These two sides are flat, so that you could, if you want to build up against it with any of your cliff pieces, or if you want to put stepped elevation block up against it, here and there, you can. The cliff works really nicely up against it. You can put that cave cliff around it. You can do a thing like that if you want. Gives you a bunch of options to how to build off this thing, and makes it much more versatile than just a giant showpiece. It's a giant showpiece that you can also use in a lot of ways. It's got a couple of steps up here to place your minis, and a completely flat top, so it's great for stacking. We'll talk about the top of it in Encounter 9, Smuggler's Cove, and you'll see the entire thing together in 10, the Shrine of Skisraisa. So this is a really big, massive, awesome piece that is definitely going to lead to some cool battles. Foot of this cliff, we have this cool piece down here. This is our transition piece from the water caverns tiles down to a negative space water build. This is a really beautiful sculpt by Eli. It's got this water texture is staggering, beautiful white water at the bottom. It's made to work with the banks down here, so it works with our a couple of different ways with our new bank pieces for doing some cool negative space builds. But you can also build you can put a regular floor up against it if you like. You could also put your water cavern tiles under it if you want to have a river that's slightly stepping down. 6 inches long, and just a fantastic sculpt. Such an exciting piece. All right, so now let's look at the centerpiece of the room, the suspension bridge. First, we have these railing pieces. We're not entirely sure what we're going to do with the railing yet. This one is rigid, has a wire in it. We might do a softer rope bit. We're still sorting out what's going to give us the most flexibility and the most usability on the game table. I really wanted these to be removable, so if you cut them, or you could just remove them altogether to make it more dangerous. Or if you're changing your lengths, you need to have different length railings. So it's important to have the railings removable. There's magnets. These are fixed with a magnet system. Of course, you can also break the bridge when the players are in the middle of the ravine if you want. It's always a fun gag. The base of it is a beautiful looking piece by Eli. Here, rough hewn logs. There's going to be some magnet and metal on the front here to affix the pieces. The idea is you can put the two together if you want to do some sort of little mini bridge sort of thing. You could also use it standalone, or you could use it to brace against a door or something. And then the centerpiece, we just have these segments. And the idea is, of course, we want it to be modular so you could change the length of your bridge. So these will fix in with magnets and let you change the size Expand or contract your bridge. We're still sorting out what's going to give us the most flexibility and the most usability on the game table. We might have to extend the back by an inch and maybe add some weight to it. I want to throw some tungsten in there, really. You just want to make sure it's really stable because we know people are going to want to build some really long bridges. We'd love to be able to go at least to 12 inches, make a staggeringly long, dangerous, deadly bridge. And finally, spoiler alert, although you probably already saw them at the Origins live stream, we have a final stretch goal in here will be a lizard folk Venom spitter. This is a female lizard folk. You can tell by her poison sacs on the side there. Super cool sculpt. These were our tribute back to the Lizardman blowgunners, which had the same translucent base to simulate water, and they're designed to be used in the water. Submerged attackers. Beautiful little sculpt, and just the thing you need to top off your Savage Gorge.
So that was the Savage Gorge. It's got those water terrain trays, big elevation pieces, towering stalagmites, cool lizard folk venom spinner, and of course, the bridge, the suspension bridge. Who doesn't want to battle on the bridge?